Greetings. We're back in my bathroom. The other day I made a video here talking about the heated towel rack. Just a luxury item, I guess, that wasn't very expensive, that's really nice to have. I really enjoyed it a lot. And I had a question about these other devices on the wall here near the bathtub. And so I thought I would, talk a little bit about them. They're other luxury items, if you will. The first one is a controller for a Rinnai hot water heater. When I renovated the house, I researched, all the things. I had a lot of time to think about things as I was doing it. It took me about 4 years. And so one of the things that I researched was the hot water heater, an instant hot water heater where, it's gas and it heats the hot water on demand. So as you need it, it doesn't have a tank. And so it's a tankless on demand hot water heater. Rinnai was a leading manufacturer, and so that's one I chose to go with. And when I was researching it, I found out that they had this controller, and so it cost me about $110 for the controller, and ever what it costs to run a 4-strand of wire from here down to the pantry where the hot water heater's sitting. And so what it does for me though is really awesome. For about, I don't know, 25 years or so, I would get up in the morning to get ready to go to work, and I would take my shower and get ready, and then I'd wake up my bride and start her bath water. And I can't tell you how many times, I would get dressed and move down through the hall, to the rest of the house, and then come back in there to check on her and hear this glurg, glurg, glurg sound, which is really the water running down the overflow. And we bought our water in Decatur. We paid for city water. And so, but this water was just running down because she just laid there and went back to sleep. And so one thing that actually the whole purpose that I have this Rinnai controller is I can set it up to run a certain amount of water into the bathtub and then it shuts off. And so I'll sort of demonstrate that. Right now, it's ready to operate just like I got up in the morning and I wanted to come in here. And so I'll hit this button. And so you heard her, she said the hot water system's ready, open the hot water tap. You actually have to put the drain in, keep the water in the tub, and then you just open the hot water. And what that system does, the reading here is 108 degrees, so it's going to run 108 degree water, 55 gallons, and then it's going to shut off. So what we're doing, we're controlling the valves down there in the Rinnai heater, and we're allowing 108 degree water through, just using hot water, no cold water zone. So it's the hot water heater is measuring that temperature, getting it to 108 degrees, and then sending it on down the line. And it's going to run out 55 gallons and stop. Now, what's the drawback to this? The great part is now I'm going to run 55 gallons. It'll fill up the tub to the level that Rochelle enjoys. And, we'll come in here and shut the thing off, and she'll take her bath, and no more than 55 gallons at a time, which is about what it takes to fill this tub. Now, the drawback is that this thing only measures water coming out of the hot water heater. So it doesn't know that it's sending it to the bathtub, and there's no allowance for any water to go anywhere else. So if our daughters are home or I'm downstairs washing dishes or something like that and she's running water, that hot water that's running through the hot water heater and not going to the tub is still counted in the 55 gallons. So, what that means is if your daughter's downstairs taking a shower and you run your bath water, and once 55 gallons reaches, the hot water shuts off, and now she's taking a cold shower. And, we've had that happen a few times. So, communication within a household is really what helps that. But this thing is awesome. Rochelle loves it. I love it. And it really, I guess, eventually saves money for us because we're not running hot water, down the drain. So I'll shut it off and drain the tub there, and just as demonstrate. Now this other device that we have here This is a Sun Touch heated floor controller. So when I renovated the house, I put heated floors in all the bathrooms, and it's electrical, so it's resistance based. Electricity runs through the wire, and the wire heats up, and it heats the floor. And you put them, I think it was about 6 inches apart, in just little runs like this. It's lasted 10 years. It's done great. It has a little controller that you can program, sort of like a smart thermostat. So I can tell it that I want the floor to be 88 degrees in the morning at 0500, and so it'll cut on in order to be 88 at that time. And then, if I tell it I want it to be 72 at 8 o'clock, then, it'll cut off and allow it to go back to 72. So, it has a temperature sensor here, so it's measuring ambient temperature, it's measuring floor temperature, and as that thing works, throughout the year, it calculates when it needs to turn on and turn off to have it at the targeted temperature, sort of like a smart thermostat. Really great. We really love it. I'll tell you a little story. My nephew, years ago, he was playing baseball. He was probably 12, 13 years old. He was playing baseball, and he played here in town. And the plan was they were going to come here to our house, and he was going to clean up, and then they were going to town. So Jonathan was going to take a shower, and so he came up here to take a shower here, and the floor was on, heated floor. It was in the fall, I think, maybe early spring, but it was that sort of chilly time, and my brother noticed that he was taking a long time taking a shower, and so he finally came up here to check on him. He was laying in the floor, on the warm floor, just soaking it up, taking a nap. So it's really comfortable. It's really nice for your feet when you get out of the shower and walk across the floor, and it's a warm towel rather than a cold towel. So just a couple of luxury items that we have installed in our house when we renovated. I thought I'd pass along, and that's what works for me mostly.